بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. New Vision International School 2019-2020 Social Studies Grade 8. Hello my dear students, how are you today? Welcome back to my Social Studies class. Before we start, please prepare your student book and activity book and highlighter, so don't forget them. I'm going to discuss with you lesson 3 in unit 4, and our lesson is industry. So please open your student book, page number 163, please. And our objectives in this lesson, you have to be able to revise what you already know about different types of industry. And the second objective is study maps to see what pattern of industry. And the last one, to be able to learn more about the growth and importance of high-tech electronics industry in recent times. In our lesson, we will focus about three main sectors of industry. The first one is the primary sector. People work to obtain or produce materials and resources from the natural environment. The main industries are farming, fishing, forestry, and mining. Most primary industries produce raw materials which are not highly processed or changed in a major way. And the second one is the secondary sector. Products from the primary sector are altered or processed to make more valuable in the products. For example, furniture or flooring in manufactured from wood, tools, and precious equipment. Motor vehicles are manufactured using the metal and other products from mining. And the last one is the tertiary sector. People work to provide a service to others, for example, as nurses or doctors or teachers. No raw materials are exploited and no goods are manufactured. In the past, most people were employed in the primary and secondary sectors. Today, this has changed, and in most countries, fewer people are employed in both of these sectors. The tertiary sector is the fastest growing sector. More and more people worldwide are employed in the service sector. You know, we have types of industry. The world of work has changed over the time, and the types of the work that people do, the ways they work, the tools and equipment they use, their working conditions and rates of pay have all changed over the past 50 years. This has led to change in the number of people employed in different sectors of industry across the world. Here we have a picture in page 164. This picture for a car. This car is under making and you will see some machines do that. So, increasing automation and new technology means that computer-controlled machines can do jobs that used to be done by real people. In page 165 here we have two maps. Both of them were taken in 2012. The first one is talking about the primary sector, and you will see some colors on the map. You can use the map key Here we have the second map in the same page 165. This map refers to the service sector. You will see the percentage of the workforce employed in the tertiary services meaning sector worldwide. Through these maps, and you can use the table of data on the previous page in 164, you will see the wealthier, more developed countries of the world have a large percentage of people employed in a secondary and tertiary sector, and only a small percentage employed in the primary sector. This is largely because people in these countries can afford to pay for services. So, more services are offered, creating more jobs in that sector. As countries develop and grow wealthier, employment patterns tend to change. Fewer people work in a primary sector, and more people work in the services sector. The data show general patterns, but there are always differences in the employment structure and patterns within countries, depending on where you are. For example, in large cities such as Mumbai, any cities, there is a much higher percentage of people employed in the tertiary sector. Tourism, media, entertainment, and other services, compared to the rest of India. Similarly, in parts of rural USA, more than 10% of the people work in a primary industry, like agricultural, and fewer are employed in the other sector. In parts of the world where there are minerals, such as part of South Africa and Russia, high percentage of people are employed in the primary activity of mining. Changing times, changing jobs. The jobs is changing through the times. So, in the past, many of the world's manufacturing industries were classified as a heavy industries. For example, iron and steel mills, metal smelting, and shipbuildings. These industries needed to be located close to raw materials, cheap sources of electricity, and transport linked for trade and export. But many modern industries are not restricted to a particular location. They can choose where they wish to be located, and may even move from place to another to find cheaper labor or better conditions for operating. Industries that can move from place to another is sometimes called footless industries. The modern high-tech electronic and software industries are good example for footless industries. Here we have a picture in page 164. This picture for a car. This car is under making, and you will see some machines do that. So, increasing automation and new technology means that computer controlled machines can do jobs that used to be done by real people. Since the 1970s, the computer, electronic, and software industries have been the most important sources of employment in California. The center of these Industries is an area south of San Francisco which has become known as Silicon Valley. IBM, Hewlett Packard, and Apple computers started out here, like Google here, Facebook, YouTube, Yahoo, and even eBay have their head office here. California is the most important contributor to the USA's income from high-tech electronics, an industry that was worth $141 billion in export sales alone in 2011, according to the World Bank. And you can see in this picture, which is the building houses the headquarters of Google in Silicon Valley, California, in USA. China, a prediction gained. China is without a doubt the world's largest producer of electronic goods. This country doubled its share of the world market from 2007 to 2011, when it earned $350 billion in export sales alone. The table shows how China's share of the world production of electronic products changed in 5 years from 2007 to 2011. This table is in 169. We arrive at the assignment slide, so don't forget your homework in activity book, page 130. Have a nice day. See you next week and goodbye.